Something that I love about big cities is the vast amount of street art they have. The large amount of graffiti and murals painted all over the walls of buildings is something I just love to take in. Although this type of art can be quite controversial because of its questionable legality and usual dark messages, I find it super bold and creative. This is probably the reason why one of my favorite artists is the street artist known as Banksy. Now, who is Banksy, you might ask? Well, good question. No one actually knows Banksy's true identity. He refuses to reveal this to us. This is most likely because of the laws against vandalism and the trouble he would be in with authorities. But his mystery identity has been a big part of what has made him so famous. Anyways, part of the allure of graffiti is not knowing the person behind the paint, but being able to imagine who they could be. Although not much is known about Banksy, it's believed that he is from Bristol, England, as that is where some of his first work began to appear. However, since then, Banksy's work has appeared all over the world, in places like Australia, the US, Jamaica, Israel, and even Canada. Whoever Banksy is, he has so many great pieces and has gone from an obscure graffiti artist to an artist known across the world. Whether that be famously or infamously, you can decide. But hey, you can at least give him props for recently going back to Bristol to put on a show in an actual museum for a change. Banksy is most known for doing his stenciled spray paintings. He actually began this stencil art because he was almost caught by the police at one point. He found that stencil art is quicker to put up and would leave less of a chance of getting caught. Not to mention, it looks really awesome. Banksy's stencil art is made typically through several layers of different stencils to get the effect you see here. Unfortunately, however, a lot of Banksy's art doesn't last very long because it is quickly painted over either by authorities or other graffitiists who don't like Banksy. For this reason, much of Banksy's art has been spread through social media and the internet. Through media such as these, Banksy's art has been able to be preserved and spread around the world. Much of Banksy's success can be attributed to this viral circulation of his work. Part of what makes Banksy's stencil art so unique is that it tends to include parts of a building's fixtures in the design. As you can see here, this not only adds to the creativity but also helps add to the message that Banksy is trying to convey with his piece. In addition to stencil art, Banksy has also made live-action sculptures. In this sculpture called Shoe Shine, Banksy actually hired a live actor to shine the shoes of Ronald McDonald. According to Banksy's website, this sculpture is a critique of the heavy labor required to sustain the polished image of a megacorporation. The past few art pieces were part of a month-long show that Banksy put on while in New York City. He came to New York in October of 2013, where he committed to creating one new piece a day. However, it's sad to say that as fast as some of these pieces went up, they also came down. Another one of Banksy's pieces that he did while in New York was the inside of an actual delivery truck decorated to look like a garden scene in a painting. It's called the Mobile Waterfall. According to Banksy, he wanted to, quote, deliver calm to the people of New York, possibly insinuating their inability to escape the concrete jungle. This is another example of a mobile sculpture by Banksy. This piece is called Sirens of the Lambs, where Banksy is speaking out against the meatpacking industry. What you can't tell in this picture is that the toy animals in the trucks are actually making crying sounds. You can imagine it causes quite a stir as it drives by. While in America, Banksy also spent time in California. Like any person visiting LA for a while, he decided to go to Disneyland. However, he did more than just ride rides. Banksy decided to make a statement about Guantanamo Bay by putting a life-size figure of the prisoner inside of one of the ride enclosures. Whether you agree with Banksy's political stances or not, it's clear that he is rather cunning and goes about every piece strategically. In fact, one of Banksy's most popular tricks was the time he entered a British museum and put some of his own art in there. The funny thing is, no one even noticed these paintings until one of the pieces he hung fell to the floor. According to a statement made by the museum, quote, a man had left a personal possession in one of the galleries. It is now being kept in lost property. I don't think they were very impressed. Dismaland. Another of Banksy's famous projects has turned into an art theme park. A playoff with Disney World with an obvious dismal twist. The art theme park was set up in a small seaside town, western Supermare, England. There are actually rides at the park and three art galleries that hold pieces from artists such as Damien Hirst, Jenny Holzer, and of course Banksy. Many of the artists featured in the galleries of Disneyland carry a similar attitude toward politics and other social issues. If these pieces aren't enough to validate Banksy as an accomplished artist, I don't know what would. Through Banksy's street art, he has helped bring attention to important issues by disturbing people's comfort, to point out the uncomfortable topics people stay silent about on a daily basis. Though some of his pieces are controversial, they touch on topics relevant to our society today. These are things that should be discussed, and what better way to grab people's attention and get them talking than through art? So thanks, Banksy.